Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we are tracing what I like to call an absolute hero's journey. We're taking a look at the orchard-to-bottle mango manufacturing blueprint. It's kind of crazy how a simple piece of fruit goes through this literal gauntlet of engineering and science to become that shelf-stable staple we all take for granted. We're going to systematically break down the highly structured path a raw mango has to survive to become that perfectly safe, absolutely delicious juice sitting in your fridge right now. So let's just dive right into it. We're tracking the mango through 4 distinct phases today. The mango's first test, extracting the liquid gold, the science of perfection, and finally, bottling and global distribution.
All right, kicking things off with phase 1, the mango's first test, surviving the orchard to factory gauntlet.
Here's the initial 3-step gauntlet. Step 1, selection. The factory doesn't just process any random piece of fruit that rolls off the back of a truck. No way. They're strictly looking for fresh, fully matured, perfectly ripe mangoes. Step 2 is washing. This is absolutely crucial. Using pure, clean water to strip away dirt, dust, and agricultural pesticides to hit those baseline food hygiene standards. And then we hit step 3, sorting. Honestly, I love thinking about these human quality inspectors like bouncers at a super exclusive club. If a mango is damaged, a little rotten, or just not quite ripe enough, it's not getting past the velvet rope. Only the absolute elite mangoes make it to the next round. Now that our elite batch of mangoes has made it inside the club, we hit phase 2, extracting the liquid gold, getting to the good stuff. We've got 3 more major steps mapped out here. First up, peeling and destoning. Highly specialized machines just swoop in to mechanically strip away that outer skin and extract the hard inner seed, the stone, leaving behind only the edible fruit. Then, for pulp extraction, that remaining flesh is literally crushed. It's heavily filtered to pull out any stringy fibers or weird particles, leaving us with a totally smooth base. Finally, mixing and formulation. The raw pulp gets pumped into these massive, and I mean massive, mixing tanks. There, it's carefully blended with water, sugar, and other approved ingredients until it reaches this perfectly uniform consistency. But right here, let's just pause for a second. How does this raw, formulated pulp actually become the smooth, shelf-stable juice that can just sit safely in a grocery store aisle for months without spoiling? I mean, think about it. If you were to just bottle that raw mixture right now, it would ferment and go bad incredibly fast. Keeping it perfect? That requires some serious, heavy-duty industrial science. And that brings us right into phase 3, the science of perfection, making it safe and smooth. Now, what's really fascinating here is pasteurization. To make the juice perfectly safe for global consumption, it has to be heated. But they aren't just boiling it wildly. No, it is heated at a highly controlled, incredibly specific temperature. This targeted heat application strikes a literal biological balance. It successfully kills off any harmful microorganisms and massively extends the shelf life. But, and this is the genius part, it manages to do all of that without cooking away that delicious raw mango flavor or destroying the natural nutritional value. It's honestly a delicate microscopic balancing act. Immediately following that thermal treatment, we get a really cool mechanical process, homogenization. Think about what happens if you leave freshly squeezed fruit juice sitting on your kitchen counter. The heavy fruit solids sink straight to the bottom, the water floats up to the top, right? It turns into this totally unappealing, chunky mess. Well, homogenation is a physics-based step that solves that exact problem. The juice is forced through a machine under immense pressure, physically shattering the pulp particles down to microscopic sizes. Because these particles are now so incredibly tiny, they stay perfectly suspended in the liquid. That creates the beautifully smooth texture that absolutely refuses to separate, even while waiting months on a supermarket shelf. Let's put these 2 concepts side by side to really lock this in. On the left, pasteurization. Its focus is 100% on your safety, using precise heating to kill microorganisms so the juice lasts longer. On the right, homogenization. Its focus is entirely on texture, using brute physical force to break down particles so your drinking experience is flawlessly smooth. So one protects your health while the other protects the uniformity of the drink. Together, these 2 steps basically form the absolute backbone of modern commercial beverage manufacturing.
So the crucial takeaway here is that even after all this incredible science, the factory is not done checking its work. Before a single drop is legally allowed to move forward into a bottle, samples are pulled and they have to pass this rigorous 5-point scientific inspection. The lab strictly evaluates the taste, verifies the exact color profile, measures the liquid consistency, tests the chemical pH level, and ensures every single safety standard is thoroughly met. Only the batches that perfectly ace this exam get the green light to proceed.
Which seamlessly brings us to our fourth and final phase, bottling and global distribution, from the factory to your fridge.
You really have to marvel at the sheer scale of the engineering at the end of the line here. Step 1, filling and packaging. Massive automated machines just take over completely, rapidly filling thousands of bottles, cans, or cartons, and sealing them almost instantaneously to lock in that perfectly crafted freshness. Step 2 brings us to labeling and storage, where critical consumer data, like nutrition info, manufacturing, and expiry dates, are stamped on before the juice heads off to climate-controlled warehouses. And finally, Step 3, distribution. The product is loaded onto massive transport trucks, officially kicking off its journey to global supermarkets everywhere. Let's take a step back and view this whole macro journey on a timeline, because the speed is genuinely staggering. On day 1, this was just a raw piece of fruit hanging on a tree in an orchard somewhere. By day 2, it is already undergoing intense factory processing, pasteurization, and homogenization. Day 5, it's bottled, labeled, and resting quietly in warehouse storage. And by week 2, it's fully integrated into global supermarket distribution. In just a matter of days, a highly perishable mango transforms into a highly engineered, globally accessible consumer product. It's wild. And that brilliantly illustrates our core takeaway from the source material today. It states, every step is carefully controlled to ensure that consumers receive safe, delicious, and high-quality mango juice. When you read that simple summary now, I really want you to think about the incredible, hidden gauntlet of science, physics, and rigorous quality engineering we just explored. That's what actually makes that statement a reality in every single bottle. It really shifts your perspective on the things we buy, doesn't it? The next time you grab a quick drink, I want you to ask yourself, what hidden science is waiting in your fridge right now? Take a second to appreciate the massive, highly structured industrial journeys behind the everyday items we consume so casually. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and I'll catch you on our next deep dive.